She is an associate professor and the Prudence F. and Peter J. Meehan Early Career Distinguished Scholar at the School of Social Work at UNC Chapel Hill. She's also the co-director of the Tiny Homes Village, a demonstration project that used tiny homes to develop a new affordable housing option for people with mental illness and other health conditions living on a fixed income. She uses her practice, experience, and expertise in intervention research to explore new ways to support the complex, interlocking problems of poverty, homelessness, substance use, and the criminal legal system involvement facing many people with mental illness. Please welcome Dr. Amy Blank Wilson.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so first, I'm going to ask you all to be my support group and watch if I get too close to falling off of this, because I've had a week, and it could happen, okay? And second of all, you're going to thank me for my notes, because letting an academic talk without notes is not a good idea. But as I apologize that I'm going to be looking at them. So we can go to the first slide. All right, so now that I've level set, we can go to the next slide. All right, great. So when we think about home, we often talk about things like warmth and connection and family. And for many of us, we might also have thoughts and concerns about money, fear of eviction, feelings of uncertainty, defeat, and desperation. Go to the next slide. Because where we live matters, and it creates the foundation for our health and our success. We go to the next slide. But the reality is that a growing number of people cannot afford safe and stable places to live. The National Low-Income Housing Coalition tells us that in the United States, we need 7.3 additional rental units right now to house individuals and families with the most limited economic means. Okay. And while this affordability crisis grows, it's a long-standing challenge for many people, and people with serious mental illness are included in this group. And what this slide is meant to illustrate is the magnitude of the housing challenge that is facing many people with mental illness. And while there are government rental assistance programs, and there are wonderful evidence-based practices that help to support people with mental illnesses live successfully in the community, they all depend on the ability of the individual to obtain affordable housing in the marketplace. And that is in very short supply. So the project that I'm talking about, the Tiny Homes Village, our mission, if you will, or our call to action, is that we've been working on a demonstration project where we're building 15 tiny homes for people with serious mental illness and with veterans having priority for 5 of those homes. And these homes are being built within the context of a community that is designed to support the residents' health and well-being. Okay, next slide. Now we're going to have this very awkward moment where I change my thing here. Okay, so now I'm going to break my golden rule. I'm going to read the slide because I want us to all hear it together. Affordable housing will not happen on its own. Go to the next slide. And one of our project partners says it this way. She says, we have to find solutions for our affordable housing crisis. To do this, we must all reach into this void together, using whatever power, resource, and skills we bring to find solutions. I find this to be an incredibly profound statement and a powerful visual metaphor, and it's become an organizing framework for our work. And now, we go to the next slide. I'm going to give you a few key takeaways. We are at an enviable point in our project. We have built our homes. We are finishing our community, and we're moving towards having residents come live in the community. And there might be a few things that we've learned we thought that might be helpful for others who might be thinking about a journey like this. So my first takeaway is, it's kind of an obvious one, but it's important to say. To increase the stock of affordable housing, we need new ideas. We need continuing to do what we've done and expecting different results. Well, we all know what that's the definition of. So in our project, we're using tiny homes, and we're using them in a particular way. Many of you may think of the TV shows and all the amazing homes that you see. Others may think about the work that homeless groups are doing in terms of using tiny homes. What we're doing is a little different. We are using tiny homes to create permanent and affordable housing that are designed specifically to support a person's health and well-being. Okay. The next thing, key takeaway, is the power of partnerships. There's no way I can acknowledge all of the partnerships that have worked here, but I think one of the takeaways for me, as someone who's not a builder, is that having this project where people who think about building houses all day, every day, work side by side with people who think about the housing needs of people with mental illness to come up with solutions has been one of the most powerful drivers of our success. And the reality is we almost never talk to each other, if not for a project like this. Okay? And I do, can we go back one slide? I do just also want to say, you see a lot of the key partners here, and the core team is in the middle, but the reality is this could have 30 partners, and we still wouldn't cover everybody. Okay? And the second takeaway is that when you have these kind of complex, big projects with a lot of partnerships, you need a strong foundation. We were lucky enough to build a public-private partnership that's led by the School of Social Work at UNC, and XDS Services, a community nonprofit provider, and it has grown over time. So next slide. And here's something our project partners tell us that surprised us. They said the intentionality of our project matters. We, from the beginning, have been getting end user feedback, meaning the experiences, talking to people with lived experience of mental illness and the people who are working with them, and using what we've learned from them to inform the design. We can go to the next slide. And this slide it's a mock-up of the final home, but the important thing here is that the work that we did with end users became a touchstone, because there's lots of decisions that have to get made when you build affordably, and doing that in an intentional way has really supported our project. Next slide. Now, I just want to give everybody a little bit of hope. So what we've been able to do is create new possibilities for homes and communities, and we hope that helps other people who are trying to build affordably. And here's a picture of the finished village, and what we know is that this creates hope for individuals with lived experience in their family, that their life can be different, that things can be better, and it creates hope for people who are working on complex problems, that there are solutions, new solutions. And the last slide, we just want to thank our community that has supported us, who's dreamed with us, who has invested in us, and have brought us to where we are. That's it. I don't know if I'm supposed to call in.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
I'm over here in the corner, back in the corner.
Yes.
I actually have a sister who's mentally ill who is in one of the UNC programs. My question is, and you're right, she's been on the street, she's been off the street, and she now lives in a group home. But one of the problems going forward is that they are on a limited income, and whoever is supposed to take care of these establishments pretty much neglect them. And so the people who are living in them, they do have a roof over their head. But so in this situation where you're building them this lovely home, who maintains the home for them?
That's a great question. So that is our community partner, XDS Inc., which is, they've been in the business of serving people with serious mental illness for about 30 years. And they will be the owner and operator. And the operation will be complex. There will be property managers. There will be people on site to help manage the leases. And then there'll be wraparound individual support services for each person who lives in the home. So yes, yeah, and you're right. The work doesn't end here. It's really just the beginning of the next phase. Thank you. Yes.
I'm going to get my steps in and go over here.
Okay.
Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Certainly people without homes and without communities need homes and communities. In placing these patients or these people in these tiny homes, are there also like liaisons or mentors or even a social worker available to help bridge them with the community and all the other resources that they needed? You know, like on your second slide with education, housing, healthcare,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yes, what I wasn't really able to say in my 5 minutes is that we've actually built a larger community that has an outdoor pavilion, that has a wellness clubhouse, and this is located adjacent to a therapeutic alternative farm where there's a number of opportunities for people to engage in daily activities. And then there'll be the layers in terms of service providers. That'll all be done individually, so it's based on what the person needs. But we partnered with the Center for Excellence in Community Mental Health, and they'll be our primary service provider. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes,
Anybody? I'll go back here.
Question is, these tiny homes, are they 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom accommodation? And what is the price range when you talk about tiny homes?
Excellent. You know, one of the things I didn't, because I wasn't reading my slide, one of my other takeaways is, you know, tiny doesn't necessarily mean affordable. That was one of our big life lessons when we moved into building. So we were able to build these 15 homes for on average $50,000 a home. Actually, some of them were less than that, but a few were a little bit more because of site conditions for each house. So to be clear, that's why we say $50,000 a home. And we did that through a partnership with Garmin Homes, who is a builder, who was able to help leverage access to resources. So that's part of the answer. And then the other part is they're 1-bedroom. And so they're 1-bedroom homes, and there's a bathroom, and then there is an open space with a kitchen and then a living area that people, because what we've learned is, you know, people with mental illness, or like all of us, there's no one way they want to live in a home. So we try to create like a lot of utilitarian spaces, and each home actually has a porch with a cover to extend their living space. It's 416 square feet total. Is that good? Yeah? Okay, excellent.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wilson.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
great.